want to show you guys some cool tricks for making your solos more interesting and fun. So I want to show you how to take like a basic melody and then add some intervals to harmonize the melody. And just doing a little thing like that, just harmonizing the melody makes it sound way cooler, way more interesting. Even though melodies by themselves, if you play them right with enough feeling, they also sound good too. But it's nice to have this other technique too. So I just want to show you a little bit of a melody, how to harmonize a melody from Creedence Clearwater Revival song called Bad Moon Rising, which I'm sure you guys know. Okay, so we're just going to do the melody part of it. I see bad moon rising. So we're just going to do that little part of the melody. So if this was the melody, just those three frets, 11th fret, 9th fret, and 7th fret. Da, 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 da. So if we want to harmonize that, a simple way to think of harmonizing a melody is if you know what key you're in and you find the scale goes with that key, and if you know the intervals in that key or in that scale shape, if you find the intervals in that scale shape, you can just add them to your melody above and below. So this is in the key of D. So you want to find your D scale shape. So there's the D note. And so we're going to be using the D major pentatonic. And then we're going to go up to that next shape up above too. Use a little bit of that. So if you know, so that's the first thing. You want to make sure you have your scale shapes memorized so you can find everything easy. But we're going to use those two shapes together, the D major pentatonic. And what we're going to do is look at the melody and then, what we're going to do first is just find the intervals. So the interval basically means just a note above or below whatever note you're playing. And on guitar, that can just look like playing a note on the next string above whatever note on the string below it you're playing. So just for example, like if we choose this first note of the major pentatonic scale, you can play a note here, next note up, and play those at the same time. That's an interval. Or if you play this one here, so that third note with the first note, play those at the same time. Doing these two notes here, so you can see a little bit, just playing with ring and pinky. That's an interval too. So basically you just go up the scale and then see what note might be a string above it. So if you play this note right here, and then if you play the note string above it, there's another interval. Or you could play it another note string above that, just like that. So find any note. Okay, here's a note. Well, if you go up the scale, this note is a string above it. You can play those together. That's another interval. For now, unless you've already learned the theory, but if you haven't learned the theory, don't even worry about it, which interval it is that you're playing with the name of the interval. That's a fourth right there. Sorry, that's a major third. But you don't have to worry about that really to start with. You can just know, okay, if this is a note I want to play, I can play a note a string right above it as long as that note is from the scale shape. So since that note's in the scale shape, I can play those together, and you know it's going to sound good because they're both intervals from the scale. And if I was going to do this one, let's see, if I keep going up the scale, so that note, okay, well let's see, what note is on a string above that? Well, the two notes above that string are those two. So I could play this note with that one. That might work in some contexts, but it's a little kind of dissonant for the song we're doing. Oh, sorry, that one. Well, that might work. Yeah, those sound good together. So that's just an example of just find any note in the scale and then play a note above it in the scale at the same time, or below. So if this is your note, you could go to a note below it in the scale. You could go. And once you play around with that experiment, you'll start finding all these intervals. You can do all kinds of techniques on them, but basically you just play intervals. And that's almost another video, but you could just play intervals along with your solo. Just add those intervals in there, just add some nice nuance. So, but that's how you find an interval. So now that we know that, let's go back to the melody of this song that we're doing. Sorry. So here's the first note. Da, da. There's a couple of notes. So let's find what note is above it. What note is a string above it? So if we're right here, well, we're in this kind of part of the scale shape, the House of Blues shape. So we're right here. That would be going up the scale. So the next note right above it is this note. So we could harmonize with this note. So if we're playing this, I'm just changing the fingering around, showing you the scale shape, but we use this fingering for the melody. So if this is the note, that's the next note above it in the scale. Let's play those together. So this is still the melody, da, but this note harmonizes it. So we have da, da, da. That's the next note in the melody, da, da, da. So if we look at that note, let's see, what note comes above that in the scale? Well, we could do this one over here, or this one here. Well, since that's the same as note we just used, let's use that one both times. So this is going to be the harmonized note on the second string both times. So we got the melody, da, 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 and now we're harmonizing it with that note above. And here's the next note in the melody. So let's see. Let's see if we got. So let's use this note. Actually, we're going to take from the major scale. This is not right from the pentatonic. It's actually from the major. But since this song has kind of a major sound, we could use it here too. So since this is the melody note, we can use this note above. We could use this one, but this note sounds nice. This note above it from the scale. And we can use it for this one too. So da, 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 da. So for both of those melody notes, we can use this note above to harmonize it. So the melody is just going da, 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 da. But we got this note and this note harmonizing all those notes. And then we go back up to da, da. So we can harmonize those the same. Da, second string to harmonize this note on the third string. Da, da, oh, sorry. Da, da. Let's see. Yeah, okay. And so with that last note, let's actually harmonize that one. Instead of with this note, let's actually use this note here. Because that sounds a little bit more resolved. So we have. So you can hear we got the melody, but we got these few notes above it harmonizing it, and that makes it sound just more full, makes it sound nicer. So then, once you've done that, you can add in your hammer-ons, slides, and all those little ornamentations to make it sound even better. So you could go. So instead of just, you could do a grace note hammer-on from the lower string. And you could slide down, instead of just going. You could slide down. And then when you go back up here, you could slide up. And then down to here, that last note again. So same thing, but now we're just adding hammer-ons and some slides. So when you do it that way, now it sounds like a nice kind of fuller solo sound. So go ahead and try that out. Any song you're playing, basically the steps are just find the melody, make sure you can play the melody, and then find what key you're in, and then find the scale shape of that key. Make sure you know the scale shape, and then make sure you can find all the intervals in that key, and that scale shape really, and then play the melody. And for each note of the melody, just find one of those intervals in the scale shape, either above or below, and play it with the melody note. And you can kind of experiment with which ones sound nice. But as long as you use notes that are from the intervals in that scale shape, it's going to sound good. So go ahead and try that out, and hope you have fun with that.